Yes, ma'am.
Collins of the Partners in Prevention Steering Committee. This is the January 13th, 2021 meeting of the Partners in Prevention Steering Committee, and it's now called to order. Today's meeting is being conducted via teleconference. We'll start with a roll call to confirm members that are present and able to participate. So when I call your name, will you please respond if you are present? So Shalonda Adams.
Present.
Okay, Chesley Knowles, we know is not going to be here. One second. Carol Greenwald.
Mr. Greenwald is logged into the meeting. We've been having some trouble getting his audio connected. So there's his video. There's him testifying that he's in the meeting, but we're having issues getting his audio connected. So we'll be working on that.
I see him, and we will note that he is in attendance. So Clint Holmes.
I'm here.
Okay, Nicole Janner.
I'm here.
Okay, and now we will do roll call of Partners in Prevention staff. Partners in Prevention Manager, Holly Fuller.
I'm here.
Director of Mentoring and Longview Bridges Out of Poverty, Lyndell McAllister.
Here.
Okay, Program and Outreach Coordinator, Taylor Thornton.
I'm here.
Mentoring Coordinator and Coalition for Drug-Free Youth Liaison, Whitney Pierce.
Here.
Grant Technician, Patty Eason. Okay, is Patty not with us?
Patty is here, and it's showing that her microphone is open. So I'm not sure why we're not able to hear her at this time.
I think she may be trying to help some of the other staff. Can we come back to her in just a moment, please?
Sure. Administrative Assistant Jordan Forbes.
Present.
Mentoring Program Coordinator Bonnie Hull.
I'm here.
Okay, Mentoring Coordinator Marcellus Dudley.
I don't believe he will be here.
Okay. Mentoring Coordinator Adora Hall.
Here.
Mentoring Recruiter Kendra Tennyson. No?
Kendra is also shown as in the meeting, but not having her audio connected.
Okay, yes, he is here.
Okay. And so is Patty then as well.
Yes.
Okay, so that concludes roll call. Then we need approval of the November meeting minutes and expenditure report. That went out in an email prior to the meeting. Did anyone have any questions or comments on that? Okay, well then I will call for a motion to approve those.
Make a motion that the minutes and the financial report be approved.
Okay, we have a motion from Shalonda. Do we have a second, please?
I'll second it. Just Clint.
Okay, thank you, Clint. So we have a first and a second, and now, do we need a roll call vote or just no?
Yeah, if steering committee members are able, they can just say yay if they approve or nay if there is an issue.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, do we have any opposed? Okay, motion passed. So now we'll move on to the staff reports and start with Whitney.
Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to do a brief update of the Coalition for Drug-Free Youth and what's been going on with us. If you'll see the first slide, you will see that we have had an expansion of partners, which is so exciting to know that during COVID, that has not stopped us from gaining new partnerships. You'll notice the first picture is of a monthly meeting Zoom with all of our partners, and we've added some members since then. And then the second one is of our Country High School kids that we did a presentation for, which I'll talk about in a minute. But the third partner I wanted to add is Spring Hill Junior High. We have had a class recently from an 8th grade history class, Mr. Borden. They wrote a letter to the coalition asking us to partner with them to help them with resources for youth substance use in Longview. And I just thought that was the coolest thing, that we have junior high students writing to us, and it was so professionally written about getting our help with access to resources for teens. So we now have 3 classes that are attending, 2 from Spring Hill Junior High, 1 from Pine Tree High School, and then we also have a Tyler Junior College student listening in on our meetings each month, and adults that are continuing to expand. So that's very exciting news for the coalition. And then the next slide. So there's a new effort that we and the mentoring program have recently partnered with Stephen F. Austin University and the Texas Health Institute. They approached us a few months back before the Christmas holiday asking about participating in this research effort where they are targeting Panola, Harrison, and Gregg counties. It's a community initiative, as you can see on the slide, to address substance misuse. So on their flyer, they are inviting citizens in the community, whether you be faith-based, police representatives, school staff, just really everyone to the table to be able to host community conversation cafes. And they're targeting specifically Gregg County, Solon, and those county arrangements. So we feel like this is a really important initiative because we're gathering information on opioids specifically, and also methamphetamine misuse, and just trying to figure out what are our needs, resources, and gaps that we're lacking with in Longview, and how can they help us with that. So if you want to be a part of those meetings, I have a January schedule for that I'd love to email out, because like I said earlier, they're encouraging everyone in the community to attend those. They're about an hour, and it's really just good discussion questions that we would like people to be part of. So please, if you want to put your email in the comment section or however that is, I would love to give you more information about that. So 2020, looking in hindsight, you can go to the next slide, what the coalition has done. So you'll see on the left, we have this box of the tear pouches. We were able to disseminate over 2,500 of those over the course of the year, and a little bit last year in East Texas. We made several partnerships with people throughout that, but ones I want to highlight are Longview ISD, Pine Tree ISD, Spring Hill, and Gladewater, and those were all school nurses. So really neat to hear that we have the tear pouches at the school, so that when kids get out for summer break, we can dispose of those medications and not have those just sitting at the school. And then our Dropbox, we disseminated over, not disseminated, I'm saying the wrong word, incinerated over 1,300 pounds of prescription drugs this year. So 1,347.3 to be exact, which is the weight of a full-grown cow. I looked that up this morning and thought that was very interesting, because that is a lot of little pills that we've disposed of. So go Longview for doing that and getting that out of the hands of people they don't belong to. And a third thing we did was we disposed of 100 pounds of syringes at the Longview Fire Department. So we are just using every way we can to get rid of medications and ones that are just unused and expired, and just getting those out of our homes. So that's awesome. And then so we've got education that's still going on. Like I was saying earlier, we did a Pine Tree High School presentation virtually a few weeks back, and we talked about 4 main questions. Why do schools need drug prevention? What are some drug trends that we're seeing on your campus? What are some things Pine Tree's doing to help with this? And then how can we as a coalition continue to make a difference virtually, while we're amidst COVID? So we had a lot of great discussion through that. A lot of the teams talked about just how kids are stressed right now, and mental health, is just increasing with that age group. And so we just discussed ways that we could be a positive light and just to encourage some, positivity through this as we keep experiencing this pandemic. So we're continuing with that, as well as social media efforts, trying to push the message out there of awareness with youth drug misuse. And then next, let's see. So we had the Texas Attorney General's Office and Health and Human Services Commission do a presentation over opioids and equipping youth. This was in September this past year, and this was a really good hit. We had a lot of membership that attended this virtually, and it just really talked about prescription drug programs that are out there in Texas, policy, some updates with that, and then some lawsuits and the results of those, which is, tried to strive to make our community better with all of the things with the doctors and the prescriptions being written, and just trying to put in some safe policies with that. So that was a really great, well-attended presentation that we were excited to be able to put on. And then, so with Eastman Chemical Company, this was in February, we were able to educate 250 adults on teen vaping and proper prescription drug disposal. And you ask, why is this such a great thing? Well, we know Eastman's a chemical company, so we were talking about importance of, not misusing opioids on the job. And then a lot of these people have children, so being able to educate them with the vaping and what you can put in these vapes, and just you really using that as a prevention tool. So we were very grateful. They allowed us to do an informational booth, and we got to meet a lot of a diverse group of adults, and they were very thankful to get this education out there. Let's see, I think there's a few more things. So we were able to sit in on a focus group a month back with CAPSA, which is a new initiative with substance use going on in East Texas. And this was talking about what are the needs of the community at this time with resources. And I think that really the number one thing that was talked about through that was just mental health and stress that our teens are experiencing, and the trends that are kind of going on with that. So as a result of all of these things that our youth are experiencing, what are some trends in the drugs that are increasing? And so we learned a lot about how we as a team can kind of help and figure out ways to bond together to reduce issues and hopefully provide resources for our youth through this. And then one of the last things that happened, which was very recent, we were privileged to be in the community spotlight with Community Health Corps' new initiative, PrevNet, Prevention Network from Northeast Texas. In December, we were able to just kind of highlight some of the great things that the coalition has done and just what our members are continuing to do amidst COVID. I'm so proud of them and just very thankful for just the initiatives that they do and are a part of every single month. And I know Shalonda's on this call, so shout out to you for being such a great member for CITFI and your continued efforts with that. So last but not least, 2021, we're excited, hoping that this COVID is a little bit reduced and we can do some more initiatives, but our 4 main goals for 2021 going into this, and we'll talk about this at our monthly meeting in January, is education, collaboration, reduction of use, and really studying that, and then awareness. So focusing on 4 things to try and bring our coalition even more close together, just really use everyone's creativity and expertise to be able to really live out our mission of reducing youth drug misuse in Longview. So that's what we have been up to. I don't know if anyone has any questions, but that was a mouthful.
Okay. Thank you, Whitney. If there aren't any other questions or comments, we'll move on to Aspire Mentoring Program.
This is Lyndell, McAllister, and Aspire Mentoring Program has also had a big year, so I don't have lots of fun pictures, I'm sorry to say, but I do have some bullet points for you to notice that we have from this important year of mentoring during COVID-19. So we have strengthened our Mentoring Advisory Council with several new members, and we're so excited about their involvement in our fundraising, renewed effort to really beef up our golf tournament. The addition of the new members has been great, and we're still working on adding a few new strategic members to that group. So if you know of anybody that's really passionate about mentoring, we would love to have their name to consider for our vacancies on our board. We have rebranded our mentoring program this year. You all know about that, to Aspire Mentoring Program. And that is something we're really proud of, and that came about through some special funding from Bonnie Hull's family and through Kendra Tennyson's contact with Abby Tyson, who has really done a great job of helping us work on our program rebranding, as well as new logos for all of Pitt and a new website that should be coming online just any time. And I think you'll all really enjoy seeing that new website. So we've had a working website for a lot of years. This is our first time to kind of have a big new professionally created one. So we're excited about that. And a good time to be making that change since we've changed our name. We successfully completed our Mentoring Plus Enhancement Grant. That was the federal grant. We were one of 10 in 2018 that was awarded that grant. And we successfully completed it so well that we were asked to be a part of the new grant. There's been some changes with that, but they're still planning to include us on a current funded grant through OJJDP, which is the Office of Juvenile Justice Delinquency Prevention federal grant. We hosted a successful golf tournament in October, and we will have another Aspire golf tournament in October of this next year. It went great. We had it at our new location at Tempest Golf Course, and even with COVID, we made more money this year than last year, and we were really thrilled about how that all went with our board members. We have navigated from an in-person mentoring program to a heavily virtual mentoring format, and that has been quite challenging. So many of our mentors are texting their mentees and talking to them by phone. Some are still meeting in person in carefully monitored situations, but mentoring is still happening, and we know it's really important in this day and time, even though it's much harder to do. We also have been contacted by 3 different organizations about being a subcontractor for mentoring in this area. So one of those is the Youth Collaboratory Group that I've already mentioned, which is a national mentoring organization, youth services organization in our country, but also Community Health Corps and Longview ISD contacted us about being a provider for mentoring services on grants that they have written. So that's very exciting that we're now being seen as more of the expert. After 25 years, that's brilliant. It's a good thing. We realize we're coming up on our 25th year. This is going to be our 25th year. And we also had a really great CBS 19 interview with mentor Donna Sharp, who's the executive director of the Greater Longview United Way, and her mentee. If you did not get to see that, we'll send the link out. I think what was really cool about that was the mentee extensively about how important mentoring has been in her life. So next slide. So our mentoring staff, Bonnie Hull particularly, came up with the idea of putting together pictures of young people that we know that are doing well in the community. And it was so fun to do this. We've really got quite a few more, but these were the ones that we could think of just pretty quickly off the top of our heads, of young people that we know that are navigating their world in a positive way and were able to move on after high school. So we wanted to, it's helpful to all of us, I think, to see the faces of young people who have been a part of the program and who are thriving. So we wanted you to be able to see that. It makes us feel good to see it. We may have to publish it where we can all kind of keep it in mind as we help young people navigate some really difficult waters through their teenage years for kids that have that come from hard places. Next slide. So January is National Mentoring Month, and I would like to invite you all to go on the Aspire Mentoring Program Facebook page, like the page, and notice that Kendra has put up pictures of mentors and mentees with comments about how they're meeting together, the fun things they're doing together to help encourage others to consider mentoring and to realize that you don't have to do magical things to build relationships with young people. It's the everyday, regular moments that help build those relationships with young people. So if you'll go in and like the Facebook page, also PIP's Facebook page, if you haven't already done that, so that you can be seeing the things that are happening through PIP. We have dates for upcoming new mentor orientation.
Sure does.
And I'll like it and share it is what I'm hearing from the audience here, from the helpful audience. So no, it's good. It is a helpful audience. And so also you'll notice there's several new dates for mentor orientation. We are expected to be a part of this OJJDP grant, which will mean that we're required to make 100 matches over the next 15 months. We don't have the contract in hand yet, but we're expecting that any day. We are excited about that opportunity. We are also a little nervous about the challenge of that, and we are anxious for COVID to be handled and for us to be able to meet in person so that we can get people to come and be mentors. But people can mentor now. They can be matched with mentees in safe situations, and we're able to do that. So if you know of anyone that you think would be willing to invest some time in the life of a young person, we've got opportunities and ways to do that safely. So I think that's a quick nutshell of what's going on in the mentoring program. And also Shalonda Adams. Shalonda, you're helpful to all of our programs. And so she also serves on the Mentoring Advisory Council, has been a mentor, has been a group facilitator. And so we appreciate that support so much. And Richard Yakeley's wife, Jenna, prior to having triplets that she's heavily invested in, has also been very actively involved. And we just appreciate each of those ones. Plus, I just always like to shout out our mentoring staff, our mentoring program staff, a wonderful, dedicated group of people working hard for our young people.
Okay, thank you so much. If there aren't any other questions, then we will move on to Unity and Diversity. Taylor Thornton.
Good afternoon. This is Taylor. So before we get to World Human Rights Day, I'm going to kind of recap some of the things that we had in some previous events. So for our December UDC meeting, this was a time where we got to celebrate the 25th year of existence for the Unity and Diversity Committee. So if you'd like to see some of those dance moves from our UDC members, you can go to our Facebook page, Longview Unity and Diversity, and you can see kind of some of those dance moves that our UDC members came up with. And then also, in this December UDC meeting, this was very interactive. We didn't have a speaker. We did breakout sessions, and they got a chance to ask some questions of each other and got some answers that some of them may not have known about each other before we went into a new year. So that was a very exciting time for our UDC members. And then for our January UDC meeting, we just did a recap of the entire year. We celebrated the things that we did well and some events, and talked about some events and some things that we want to see in the upcoming year. And on our Facebook page, we really heavily activated on our Facebook page because this is kind of how we're communicating virtually in this time and in this season. So on our Facebook page, there's a diversity during the holidays video. If each of you want to go and take a look at that, I know we are kind of still in the holiday season for some cultures and how they celebrate the holidays. So we just wanted to broadcast some holidays that other people may celebrate that are not necessarily recognized on our calendars to be inclusive to all. And then we also celebrated World Human Rights Day. So you can, yep, perfect. And then we also brought recognition and awareness to International Day of Disabled Persons. And this is all on our Facebook page as well. And then we also recognize World Kindness Day. Okay, next. So we are very, very excited that our Unity Honors Luncheon is approaching on June the 23rd of 2021, but we're even more excited to announce the honorees in special recognition. This is Shalonda Adams and Mr. Terrell Greenwald, and then special recognition from Beds of Hope. So we'd like to send you another virtual congratulations on this huge honor. I'm super excited for this year's Unity Honors Luncheon. This year, we're going to do a tribute to Alice Day, and we're also going to do a tribute to Jimmy Isaac. And then we're also celebrating our 25 years of existence as the UDC, being that this year we couldn't really celebrate how we wanted to. So this year, 2021, we're going to bring in our Unity Honors Luncheon with a huge, huge celebration. I hope that each of you all can make it. For more information, you can always visit longviewtexas.gov/Unity Honors, and that will be where you can get the most updated information, or you can just simply email me or call me. We have also decided to partner with the Longview Public Library. On February the 26th at 2 p.m., there's going to be a reading, and basically anyone can join in on this. They're going to be following COVID guidelines. It is going to be at the Longview Public Library, so there'll be a selection of books that pertain to Black History Month that each person can read some sections from this book, and it's going to be broadcasted on Facebook. So if anybody is interested in going to the library and reading on this day and just kind of tuning in to how the books that you're going to be reading ties into Black History Month, feel free to email me, and you can participate in that as well. Typically, we do a movie night, a Black History movie night with the Longview Public Library, but due to COVID, we won't be doing that this year, so we've decided to partner and do the read-ins in place of the movie night. We have our February UDC meeting, which I am very, very excited about this meeting. We're going to have some panelists from the 1919 Longview Remembrance Project. So this should be a great way to just bring in Black History Month and just really tune into what this month really means. Then for our March UDC meeting, we're going to have Councilwoman Nona. She's going to be speaking about Women's History Month, as far as the women history in her life, the city, and some things that she's seen over the years in her family. So we're very excited to have her to join us in our meeting. Then for our April UDC meeting, we're going to have Amanda Vesey with One Love Longview, and she's going to be presenting about kind of what One Love Longview does and the inclusive opportunities that they have been presenting to the city. So we're very excited about that as well. And if you know of any business, organization, church, or if any one of you would like to be a sponsor for our 17th Annual Unity Honors Luncheon, we have sponsorships, friends, sponsors, underwriter. And this year, since we're really, really wanting to celebrate that 25th year anniversary, we have added on a silver sponsor in the amount of $500. And this is where you will receive up to 8 tickets as well as recognition at the Unity Honors Luncheon and on our social media pages and other media publications as well. So we are very excited about that. And we are excited for the Unity Honors Luncheon to be held on June the 23rd. We have already received one silver sponsor, and this is from Mr. Cooper Group. So I'd like to bring recognition on Mr. Cooper Group and the Diversity and Inclusion team. They have formed a new partnership with the Unity and Diversity Committee this year. And I would like to just really just tell each of you how much I appreciate the Unity and Diversity Committee, because they were committed virtually, and due to their commitment and the Unity and Diversity Committee just really tuning in to events virtually, social media virtually, Mr. Cooper Group was able to reach out to the Unity and Diversity Committee this year and was able to provide contributions and sponsorships to help the Unity and Diversity Committee from this point moving forward. So we are very excited about Mr. Cooper Group and the partnership that we have formed, and we cannot wait to see what 2021 holds. Are there any questions?
Okay, thank you very much, Taylor. And congratulations again to Carol and Shalonda. We'll move on now to Holly's program manager report.
Okay, yes, I want to echo the congratulations to Shalonda and Carol as well. We had several nominations this year, I think more than we ever have, and so that was a great response, and very proud that they were selected to serve as honorees this year. I'll just go through a few things that I have here, some of which has already been mentioned, but just to recap and thank the mentoring team for their great work on our first Mentoring Plus program that we did with Youth Collaboratory, which positioned us for additional funding. So that is great to be able to secure that funding and move forward and kind of already know what to expect from them. They've done a great job. Just to kind of say also, you know, I was kind of reflecting on this past year, which has been a little absurd and crazy for all of us. I think we would agree. But starting back in February, mid-March, Partners in Prevention had to start kind of readjusting how we were doing business because, of course, of COVID-19 and the threat thereof. But our team has really stepped up. They've really done a great job over these past 9 or 10 months in adapting. We had to cancel some of our poverty training sessions that we would normally conduct, but we were also able to pick up some and do those via Zoom virtually to still get information out. The mentoring this past May would have been our year for mentoring banquet celebration for what was then our Forever Friends mentors and mentees, and instead we adapted that to a drive-by parade to celebrate our seniors. The last few years, the Unity and Diversity Committee has sponsored the talent stage at the 4th of July festivities at the Mod Cobb Fair and Fairgrounds. And so Taylor came up with an idea of doing that virtually. So all the auditions and everything, the performances were done virtually to still be able to engage in that. We have moved all of our committee meetings to a Zoom platform, which you think would discourage some people, but in reality, we've actually seen additions coming into some of our committees, new members, great participation, I would say. We had scheduled for a Longview Listens, which of course couldn't happen, but then changed that to a video called Climate Control by Terry Reese. Again, what Lyndell mentioned, I think one of our big successes this year was the revamping and the rebranding of Partners in Prevention and all of our programs, and just feel like because of that opportunity, we have a much more cohesive look. We're all very proud of it, and we're just thankful for the opportunity to do that. We are continuing to meet in person when possible. Not much. As I said, most of our committees, or all of our committees at this point, are meeting some kind of teleconferencing platform. But we are continuing to do new mentor orientation, masks, social distance. We've been fortunate that we could use the facility at Mod Cobb so we can ensure that everyone is spaced out and safe. Also, just reflecting for this past year, as Taylor mentioned, the 25 years of the Unity and Diversity Committee. That just is amazing to me, that has continued on and is strong, it's growing. I think it just speaks to the continued need that we have in our community and how people do want to come together and have real top conversations and dialogue. And then celebrating mentoring for the 25 years coming up as well. the Coalition for Drug-Free Youth has changed its name periodically through the years, but it's always been based on substance abuse prevention, which was the platform for starting what was once Longview Drug Task Force and now Partners in Prevention. So we have continued that on as well. So one of the things that I would like to also mention that Taylor mentioned earlier, the Unity and Diversity Committee February meeting for the 1919 Longview Remembrance Project, Clint Holmes, who is, of course, one of our steering committee members, will be one of the panelists on that. So I would really encourage you to listen in on that, and of course, anytime in the future that you want to join for those meetings the first Monday of every month. That's really all that I have for today, just kind of recapping. I know we've had new committee members that have come on that we have not still got to meet in person yet, but I do appreciate your dedication and coming and being here every other month. We will have to, unfortunately, rotate off Chesley and Lois from the steering committee. They have both been fully committed in serving their two-year terms. So that will happen this summer. So if you know of anyone who might like to serve on the steering committee, I would encourage you to have them go to the website, longviewtexas.gov, and complete a board application, commission and board application. That can be done online or printed out, and get that submitted for consideration for this coming summer. I believe that's all that I have, unless anyone has any questions. I also want to, just one last thing, to that I always encourage and want to hear from our steering committee members in between times of our meetings. So if you have any ideas or input or suggestions, please get in touch with me and let me hear that, especially as we're right here at the beginning of the year and starting to plan for what we hope will be a great 2021. And we'll hopefully be looking a little bit different than 2020 as far as reconnecting a little bit closer and not have the distancing requirements that we have to abide by to keep everyone safe. So with that, I will close or entertain any questions if anyone has anything.
This is Carol. I just want to thank everyone, each of the leaders of the various committees and these initiatives. This is just excellent work, and I know it's hard to do this virtually, but thanks to each of you.
Thank you, Carol.
Okay, if we don't have anything else, then we'll move on to see if we have any citizen comments. Richard?
Yeah, no one's registered to speak at this time.
Okay. Then I believe we are ready to adjourn.
Before we adjourn, I'd just like to give a reminder of our next meeting date, which will be March the 10th. You know, at this point, we'll still plan to meet teleconference-wise unless something changes.
Sounds great. You guys do a great job of getting us all that information up front, and thank you to Richard for helping coordinate that. And if there's no further business, then this meeting is adjourned at 12:43.